So welcome everyone to the first virtual Study Abroad Global Opportunities Fair. I'm going to talk to you today about Pacific Northwest College of Art, which is located in Oregon on the west coast of America. I will just get my PowerPoint up. So the first thing to note about, well, it's abbreviated to PNCA, but obviously, as you would expect from an art university, it is super visual. So I think I took this graphic from their website, and I think it's just a really, really nice quote and kind of shows as an introduction to what PNCA is all about as you as artists. So yes, Pacific Northwest College of Art is located in Oregon in the USA. It empowers artists and designers to reimagine what art and design can do in the world. So again, very inspirational related to your craft. It was founded in 1909, so obviously there's some history behind it. There's about 522 undergraduate students and 125 graduate students. So as you can see, it's a really small university. So I class York St. John as a small university, but PNCA is even smaller, which is great to have that community feel and a sense of belonging. There's 121 total faculty members, and there's a 9:1 student to faculty ratio. So again, that really shows the personal experience that you can expect to get at PNCA. I'm quite visual. I like to see things on a map. So this is where it's located, which is in the state of Oregon. As you can see, it's on the west coast, so just by the Pacific Ocean. It's a really trendy area. A lot of movements come out of Oregon. Some people refer to Oregon as being pretty liberal as a state. There's a lot of festivals that happen, book tours. It's a key filming location for Hollywood. So it's a really kind of active and vibrant area to study in. Again, being on the west coast, so Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle, Boise, Las Vegas, and Vancouver are within driving distance or short flights. So if you're really interested in traveling that side of America, then this is a really, really key location. You can expect a warm summer climate, but wet winters. So it's definitely can have that kind of Mediterranean feel. So a bit more about Portland. So it's actually been voted one of the best 10 cities to live in the world. It is a city, but it's definitely friendly enough to feel like a small town, which is really great to keep that community atmosphere. It is really a magnet for designers, musicians, artists, and writers. So like I said, a lot of things happen in Oregon, a lot of movements, a lot of people come out of there. So it really is a really key location. It's 60 miles from Mount Hood and the Pacific Ocean, and Mount Hood is an outstanding area of natural beauty, and it's really cool where if you're a bit bored of the city, then just a short walk away or a short drive away, you can definitely be surrounded by nature, which could really kind of, inspire you and your craft. It also has one of the largest reserves, which has a system for hiking and biking, and 288 public parks and tons of miles of trails. I think it's a really kind of cool and active place. And there's a river running straight through the city, so it's not uncommon to have kayaks, dragon boats, sailboats, and canoes. It's got a reputation for innovative restaurants and a year-round farmers market, which is really popular in Oregon. Kind of the classic get up in the morning to get my groceries. Like I said, there's a vibrant art, music, and literary scene. There's tons of festivals that go on, and there's many art walks to get involved in as well. So it's a very busy, bustling, creative city, which is perfect if that's what you're interested in, and with your studies. These are just some pictures of Oregon. So as you can see, there's the food court, there's Mount Hood there in the distance, there's one of the nature reserves, and then kind of the metropolitan area. So it's definitely a university which is really an area which is really diverse, and there's a lot to do. So who can go and when? So these are the degrees that can study at PNCA, and there's a mix of either the first semester or the second semester. So America's term tends to start a little bit earlier than the UK, so you can expect to go kind of mid to late August and then come back in December, and then January to May is the term dates you would expect. So a quote from the website, it's PNCA is a playground for artists and designers. So because of the smallness, you will definitely be part of a really small, tight-knit community. Everything they do, it revolves around the arts. So it will prepare you for a life of creative practice. So if it is something that you are interested in pursuing after university, then it will definitely be a really good place for you to study. They pride themselves on no lecture halls, which I think is really interesting. Every space is kind of an art space. They really value differences, and it's dripping in art, so there's art everywhere. This is just an example of the degrees that they offer at PNCA. So obviously they are very similar to Who Can Go from York St John, and maybe there's something there that is a little bit different that you can then experience when you're out there. One of the great things about PNCA is definitely its facilities. So there's a link there, but they have obviously a few different studios. There's a print studio, photography, sculpture. I don't know what a Wacom lab is, but it sounds interesting. Media Resource Centre, animated arts, make, think and code, and a sound lab. It might be a little bit blurry. Kind of shows you some more facilities that they have. So there's definitely have state-of-the-art technology and things in place for you to be able to explore your craft and to maybe try something a little bit different, or do something that you know that you're really good at and want to kind of refine. These are just some pictures from the galleries, labs and facilities. So as you can see, it's a very open space university. It's dripping in art. There's art everywhere, and there's a lot of chance to get involved and kind of make the university come to life. In terms of student life, so there's lots of great things to do when you're a student there. There's field trips to the beach and breakfast, parties, ping pong games, quizzes in the studios. So there's a student council that organises exhibitions, performance and pop-up shops. So it would be really great to be able to say that you had your art on show at an American Art University. The campus itself holds more than 700 free public events, which brings obviously a lot of lecturers, arts, projects and exhibitions to campus. So again, it's really good for networking and to maybe meeting new people and getting some inspiration. Again, they have the centre on campus that has exhibitions by internationally recognised artists. You can show your work, so there's space everywhere for you to show your work, and the public and other students can come in and have a look. So again, a great way to display your artwork. They really celebrate the creativity of members and students through forums. There's art sales, shows and exhibitions, and the campus itself is visited by an array of artists and designers. So again, it's really good to learn something a little bit different. These are just some examples from the student life that you can expect. So the skiing, which is really popular, and one of the open space art exhibitions, and kind of the outdoorsy side that Oregon is really famous for. There's a lot of student initiated clubs at PNCA, and that's one of the great things about studying in America. There's a list here of the kind of student clubs that you can get involved in. So some of them are obviously academic related, whereas some are a little bit different. So an outdoor adventure club, Friends of Frank Ukulele Society. So it's definitely, if you want to try something a little bit different, then this PNCA is definitely the place to do that. So in terms of accommodation, there's two options at PNCA, and they do have their own university residence, which is called an art house. So it's 5 minutes away from campus, and there's all standard utilities, etc. The only thing I would note about the art house is that it is really modern and it's really great, but it might be a bit more expensive than what you're used to in terms of paying for accommodation here. If this is something that you're not interested in, then you can find private accommodation. And the international office at PNCA can help you look for private accommodation. Or we've had students in the past go through things such as Airbnbs or share with other international students in a private house. That's kind of the end of my short information about PNCA. If anybody has any questions, please type them in the chat and I can answer them. Just an extra note, so in terms of funding, you will get your student finance as normal. So as you would use that if you were here, you just convert it into dollars and it's yours to use. You will also be you also receive the York St John bursary, which is £750 that we give to you once you've arrived at your location. This is completely yours to put it towards flights, accommodation, or a bit of travelling. And Student Finance also do a travel grant where they can look to reimburse you for some costs such as flights or insurance. What I'll say about PNCA is it's definitely the location that sells it. It's right in the centre of Portland, Oregon. It's just an absolutely breathtaking place. It's really interesting. The staff are interesting, and it's a really cultured place. We've had students who have maybe learned something a bit different there and then brought back what they've learned, and they've used it to influence their dissertation or their practice in their third year. So it's a really, it's a great opportunity to explore your craft a bit more in, a university that's completely dedicated to the arts. If anyone has any questions, please pop them in the type box. We do have a study abroad ambassador who went there last year. Her details are at the bottom of our web pages, so please feel free to email her and ask her how she found her experience. She's called Ruta, so please feel free to contact her. See if there's any questions. If you are interested, then what I would recommend doing is have a look on our website and have a look at PNCA's website, and you can do virtual campus tours, you can have a look at their exhibitions, their sports and societies clubs, and definitely look at their facilities. They're completely state-of-the-art, to see if there's anything that interests you. And then please book an appointment with myself or my colleagues through Launchpad Online, and we can give you a more depth tutorial about how the application process works, about the university, and how kind of your study abroad journey will look kind of, timeline wise, and what you can expect while you're out there. Don't think there's any questions. No. Well, thank you for coming and listening a bit about PNCA. Like I said, if you have any questions, go on our website, book a tutorial, or please email us studyabroad@yorksj.ac.uk. But apart from that, thank you and have a good evening.